Welcome to Monday in my lately kind of tame life. I've been lacking energy so bad, but this is supposed to be high energy. We're going to have a butter battle. I have got some fun brands. I told Sherry about this one, and she's like, my God. And then I was picking that one out of the store to compare it to my regular HEB butter. And I ran into this one, and well, Dr. Nelson's wife is named Nellie, and the ingredient list is good. It's made of cream and butter. Cream and salt. And then this was over there. I've seen this one longer than these other two, but I've seen it. And it is also made of cream with salt. That's the one thing all of them have going. Now, does it make a difference? Is one of them going to be better than the others? A lot of brands, depending on what you're looking at, might mention that it's 85 or more % butter fat. And the Minerva brags that it is 85%. I've got a dish and a knife. I would normally just take a little bit off on the wrapper and then close the wrapper up. But I'm not going to be too crazy today. Let's see, this one says 90% grass-fed. It doesn't say 90% butterfat. But I think there are laws about what the butterfat has to be for them to sell something as butter. Now, the Vital Farms is the only one with a different wrapper. It's differently colored. If you've got it in the fridge with your usual, you'll be able to tell which one is which. The Nellie's has the name on the wrapper. HEB just said salted butter. And the Minerva is slightly less intense print job, but it also just says, it says not labeled for retail sale. You don't buy a single stick of this, but it's also the one that's closest to having your tablespoon mark right at the end of the stick. That's actually difficult when you're cooking. It's like, let's see, this is 1/3 in, so I've got to go down to the next line and then 1/3 towards the next line. And it's a pain in the neck. Now look at this one. It's like, there's more than a tablespoon down here, and you're somewhere past the mark up here. But you've even got the image of the little cow there on the end of the paper. It's cute. I don't know if it's necessary. But the idea is taste, and if there should not be any variation in texture because it's butter. And yes, I did bring my stick into the kitchen, so my phone is on the stand. This one is the one I use the most. And I do eat carnivore, so this is not going onto bread or anything. It is just going into meat. That's my familiar butter. So if it gets right down to it and your family's picky, or you've got somebody who's been eating this all their life and they just want to keep eating that, not a big deal. Let's go with the Nellies. This one's for you, Dr. Vasquez. Actually, I don't know that his wife has ever been associated with the dairy business in any way, but he mentioned recently that's his wife's name. That's as good a reason to try a piece of butter as any I can think of. The fact is, it doesn't really taste or feel much different than the HEB. And the HEB is pretty good. That's why I buy it. There's another Texas brand named Palfarius. I don't actually happen to have it in... Oh, this is very yellow compared to the other two. I don't know if the camera is getting the difference. But it is the Vital Farms. And this is the one that's pasture-raised grass-fed cows. If anything's going to make a difference, I think... Now, a long time ago, color used to be added to butter and margarine to make it look more like this. Because if you were used to eating good quality butter that was very yellow from Grandpa's cow off in the pastures, and then somebody gave you margarine that was thick and kind of white and didn't taste near the same, you might not be as receptive to it. But then the war comes along and everything's being rationed, and Grandpa's butter is being bought up by the government because the chow halls need butter for healthy, strong soldiers. That is definitely a salted butter. The flavor is a little more neutral, but the aftertaste of it is definitely butter. So far, I'm liking the Vital Farms best. I might have a new brand, y'all. Don't be afraid to do things like this. No one's going to come policing you in your own kitchen. But definitely look at the ingredients. This one is the Minerva. This is the one I was telling Sherry about and said maybe I should taste test it. And she's like, butter battle! The only butter battle I'm aware of is a excellent children's book by Dr. Seuss. Now, it does not have the intense color because this might have been processed earlier in the spring. That's one of your tattletales of real butter. If you're making butter, see, pasteurized cream, sea salt, and it's from Ohio. I don't know what time of year they consider to be warm enough or dry enough to let cows out in the fields, but you wind up with a paler butter when your cows are kept in because of weather. Let's take a look where Vital Farms is. And for samples, I did buy these small boxes that only have 2 sticks. Oh, this is from Ireland. I should have expected. The Irish know how to make good butter. Yes, I do eat the Kerrygold when it's available. But dang, now these are all good. When it comes to the Nellies and the Minerva, I might as well be eating the HEBs. It's nice neutral flavor. If you don't want to add a intense flavor to what you're cooking or making. I do have my scooper standing by. So I'm not going to have an unreal number of sticks of butter, partly unwrapped and partly used. I'm going to make butter balls, and I will see if anyone grabs out the Vital Farms because they're richer colored. Let's see, this box has one, oh, that's unsalted, dang it. Okay, I had something wrong. This box is unsalted. The stick is salted. So that's what I meant to get. And some brands will do this, some won't. But you can see on this one the unsalted says unsalted on the stick. I don't just have to keep the box around. And the salted says salted on the stick. I'm across the kitchen putting the salted butter back where I got it. And I got yesterday's coffee out because I didn't have any coffee yet. I might just put it up and not have coffee because it has not been very friendly to my sleep lately. But it's a great way to get a few egg yolks down. Now to get a fresh Ziploc. Like I said, I think the Vital Farms is my winner as long as it's on sale or had cheaply, but wow, it's so good. Now, a single stick does not make very much in terms of number of butter balls. Ooh, put that in there. And then you've got all this part, and that's what I'll use cooking as the day goes by. Or considering I've opened up 4 sticks of butter for this, might be as the week goes by. Ideally, you want to scoop butter balls very much from something that is firm and has not been sitting out for a few minutes to make a video. That's okay. What I might do with the other sample sticks is get them partly frozen and then see how butterballs come out with that. I don't usually have to freeze it because being saturated fat, it will be very solid when it's chilled. Is it that important? In the grand scheme of things, no. If you're eating real butter, you're already doing the best thing for your health. But the fact is, if one's truly better, then I want to support that business. Look at that. The color of the Vital Farms is intense enough that it shows up when I press the next butterball out of a paler butter. And it turns out my husband is eating the butterballs, so I don't want to just flick it out with my thumbnail like I had previously done. You're always going to wind up with a little bit of an uneven surface, but I don't care. It's butter. Time for a sacred cow joke? Maybe. But it's not the cow, it's the product of the cow. I ought to get one of those super small size portion scoops that people typically use for mini scoops of ice cream for toddlers, or pretty butter in restaurants. You know, oh, we've got this, what can we do to make it look right? And they might be scooping it out of God only knows what, that's 1/4 canola oil. I don't know. But they try to make it pretty, and they use those little spring-loaded scoops. Now, I press this together. I'm doing a better job with this one than I did with the other. But you press it together, you get it firm, and then you go press out more butter balls. Now, for free-range grass-fed, I was kind of hoping the Nellies would be farther up on the list. And I see stuff on there's stuff printed in the box, like you used to get with, oh, there's a cutout. Make yourself a cow, I guess. Or if you've got a dish like this one and no butter cover, maybe I don't know that the cow would fit over the butter, and a lot of people live in places where there's not going to be a lot of flies in the house. Goody for them. Now, looking in the bag, the color from one to the other from the outside is very obvious, but looking down into the bag, not so much. And these will stick to each other a bit in the baggie, but that's okay. It's butter, and it'll get firm. And when it's firm, you just sort of press on the outside of the bag where they're stuck together, and it comes right apart. If anyone notices the difference, then I may occasionally get a little more Vital Farms, or, you know, if somebody grabs one out of the box and says, oh, this is good, then, you know, I may grab whichever box that was. Oh, yeah. What to do with a little extra bit left of the scoop. Yum. And that's Minerva. So yes, I do have a clear winner in the butter battle. And it wasn't my longtime go-to. It was the Vital Farms butter. There's not really enough difference between the Nellies and the Minerva to make a fuss over it. But there's my winner. And yeah, I did spend a little bit that I wouldn't normally have, because butter is not the cheapest product in the store. But now I know if I want something to look, taste, and feel exactly right, and then punch your mouth in the aftertaste, Vital Farms is the way to go. Now I've still got the second stick from each of these small boxes. I'm not prone to making a high butter sauce like the one that goes on Eggs Benedict. But these might be the way to go for those sauces to get that punch in the aftertaste. And this has been Monday, early in the afternoon, with your feral grandma. Remember, eat what makes you feel good. Eat what helps you be healthy and makes you feel good, hopefully. A lot of people are still scarfing down margarines and seed oils. My own family does that. My daughter's got a bottle of some kind of cooking oil back there, and olive oil and spray oils and stuff. I'll use my butter. I'll especially use the Vital Farms butter when it calls for it. Yeah, I turned the zipper part of the Ziploc down to avoid getting it full of butter. It zips right up. You can see what I mean about the Vital Farms showing through the baggie. The 4 that are Vital Farms are over here, and they're as gold as can be. But yeah, I need to put something in my face now besides butter, or I'm gonna suffer the consequences. Y'all take care. Y'all feel good. Do what you need to do and get some kind of exercise. Grandma loves you and wants you to be okay. Bye-bye.